What documents are required to apply for non-profit residency in Spain? There are some common documents such as a medical certificate as proof of not having contagious diseases, proof of not having a criminal record, medical insurance without co-payment. If you come with your family, birth certificates of the children, marriage certificates less than 3 months old, to prove that there has not been a separation or divorce, not the original certificate, but a current one taken from the registry. On the other hand, the financial means, with regard to these documents, depend on the circumstances of each person. One type of document or another must be presented. Even if it is a person who is a manager or self-employed, they must sign a delegation of functions. It is necessary to clearly see that we reach the minimum amount that is required depending on the members of the family. On this subject, we have recorded a video that you can consult, and this economic part depends on the circumstances of each person. For example, if you are working or not, if you receive other income such as rents or shares in companies, etc. It is true that there are rulings from the Spanish High Court of Justice in which it states that the regulations say that if you have the necessary amount for the maintenance of the first year, you have to be granted residency. But one thing is what the regulations say, and quite another thing is what the consulates do, and they don't do. In order to present documentation to the consulate that is 100% perfect and that passes the first time, my advice, what we do in this office, is to provide the two requirements. On one hand, sufficient financial means for the maintenance of a whole year, and, on the other hand, regular financial means which also cover the minimum required by the regulations, therefore ensuring 100% success of the application. We must also bear in mind that there are countries such as Algeria that prevent money from leaving the country. If this is your case, and you have money in Algeria, it will not be useful when it comes to submitting the application. There are certain conditions. There are ways in which this money can be used. For example, converting it into euros, having a card that is linked to this account. That is why it is impossible to say what documents are needed without knowing the exact characteristics and circumstances of the person and the family. I say family because it is not only the financial means of the head of the family, it is also the financial means of the members of the family. For example, if the wife or one of the children has an inheritance, in this case, they count. There are also cases in which we do not have a regular income and we can be granted residency because we can prove that we have sufficiently large patrimony and that we have made some sales in recent years, which proves that apart from the money we have in the bank, we have the capacity to support ourselves economically through the income from the sales we may have completed. We have also had these cases. There are too many circumstances and variables to give a list of the documents that are needed. That is impossible because, as we said before, it will depend on the circumstances, the person, the family, the country where they are living, etc. I hope this talk has been useful. Kind regards.